Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Night Show, our second live stream today. Our first one focused on Pulsechain and Pulse of the Fallen anime series. This one will be focusing on Bitcoin, Michael Saylor's strategy, of course, formerly MicroStrategy, and of course Tom Lee and Bitmine Immersion, both the two big digital asset treasuries that are leading the way for Bitcoin and Ethereum to absolutely astronomical heights, and it is just the beginning. We've seen some of the opening shots here today in the markets for that move. So you are super early. It is exciting, guys. It is super exciting. I hope you enjoyed the alpha. I'm going to say one thing, of course, is if you haven't joined our strategy club, the link's in the video description, pinned to the top of X there. You can go through the Whoop store, join up the strategy club in Discord, go through the Whoop store, just over $1 a day to join up. Fantastic value, and you'll get all the intel, much more than I will be covering in my live streams. So get in there as well. So pretty awesome. We're obviously going to cover Pulsechain. Pulsechain is on a bit of a recovery mode at the moment, a bit of a lagged move on the bigger market as well. So recovery from ProveX launch, and of course a bit of a lag move after the majors have moved, like Bitcoin and Ethereum. It does seem to be showing some green candles right now. So we're going to go through all of that, including some of the big heavyweight premium tokens on Pulsechain, like a PGC, like a Peacock, and of course we'll go through many others as well. So I hope you guys enjoy the content today. Don't forget to hit the repost button on X, and of course if you're new to YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. And of course, if you're out there and you're into a lot of this different macro stuff, get in, folks, because we'll be covering Bitcoin, Ethereum, Pulsechain, Solana, and of course X1. So look forward to all that. It's going to be pretty cool. EVM and SVM chains, it's all on. But if you want all the extra secret sauce about all the other things that are bullish for crypto, definitely jump in the Strategy Club. And of course, we've got the QR code on the next page. So let's jump away to that. We got Sean in the house. Hey, Sean, great to see you. Up only 369 our season. Absolutely, Sean. Super bullish. Great to see you in the chat again today. So if you haven't joined the Whoops, go through the Whoop store to join strategy. There's a QR code. You can just use your mobile phone to join up. You will go through the Whoop store, join up, and you will pop up in our private strategy club in Discord. There's over 1,000 members in Discord, so join up today to the strategy club. That's an exclusive club, and you get all the intel. Really well worth it, because we're at the beginning of something amazing. So you definitely want to get all the intel there. So what else can we say? Yeah, the strategy club is linked at the top of the X as well, whoop.com/strategy room. Jump to there today. And of course, when you land, you will land on this sort of landing page. That will be the landing page, and you can join up the strategy club there, right? So join up, hit the join button, and you will get in there. So go for gold, and we'll see you in the strategy club today. All right, also links in the video description on YouTube. All right, without further ado, let's move on into the content of the show. And of course, we've had some pretty awesome 24 hours, at least 12 hours with the old crypto market. You can see some of the crypto tickers ticking along there at the bottom of the screen, including not only Bitcoin and Ethereum, but many of the top tokens on Pulsechain, as well as some of the top projects like Emmett Farms as well, and True Farm there as well. So look at that popping up there. So big shout out to those teams, really adding value on the Pulsechain DeFi space. All right, so excuse me, we got the total market cap right now at 2.63 trillion. Remember, that's super small. If gold's around 40 trillion, we are seeing a little bit of weakness coming back into the gold silver, and so a bit of rotation happening too. Obviously, with the high oil prices, we do get software, and of course, crypto is a software. So we're getting that moving up, right? So that's really bullish as a general trend. But in fact, we've got some very specific leadership things going on with strategy and Bitmine Immersion leading the value, providing a price floor, and moving the prices higher. So it's going to be really, really fun to watch. You guys are just at the beginning. I cannot say that enough. It is early days. You've not missed the boat there, and it is exciting where we're going, right? So obviously nothing in this live stream is financial advice or anything like that. You do your own due diligence, but just my thoughts on the matter. So jump on there. Let's have a look at Bitcoin right now. We're just below 75,000. Amazing, right? We were, hit the psychological 70K. We wanted to break through 72K. We've done that in great fashion. And here we are up around just under 7,500 right now. 3% at the moment. We've got a little bit of just a slight pullback in the last hour, very, very slight indeed, 0.3%. Ethereum at the moment, 2,340, up 6.5%, looking super strong, isn't it? Up 16% in this week, guys. We're looking really good there. XRP up 8.9%, up 13% for the week. $1.57. Number 5 is BNB up 0.7%, $680, up 5.7 for the week. Solana is up 3.6%. Interesting, lagging, isn't it? Lagging. We might see that move a bit later. It's $95, up 10.7% for the week. Tron is at number 8, down 0.4%, but still up 3.6% of the week at 29.6 cents. Figure Hallett there sitting $1.03, up 1%, down 1.4% for the week. And Dogecoin there up 4.2% and 11.7% for the week at number 10. So those are the big movers right now. All I'm going to say about that is that we're going to keep a lookout for Solana and Doge in particular, and XRP as well. And I'm sure BNB being centralized will do all right itself. But we're expecting the big payment rails potentially on XRP. Well, not potentially, it's definitely going to be on XRP with the banking. Solana is a bit of a question mark, although we are seeing RWA's tokenization really start to lift that. It's just the unreliability of the chain, and that's why Ethereum will be the preference, right? Even though Solana's SVM and it's got all the big transactions, it will be, Ethereum does have the second layers, and Solana there has had a few issues. So I think the markets, and most of all, is going to go for Ethereum, especially around stablecoins. And of course, then we've got Doge down there waiting for X money from Elon Musk, right, to kick in. There'll be a couple of months probably before we start getting crypto on there. We're going to have it go public, and then within the month, and then a global as well within, I think, 2 months. And then we'll probably move from just fiat-based and through to cryptos. That's kind of what we're seeing. So keep a look out for Dogecoin there as well. Those are the top 10 things. But, of course, let's jump into Bitcoin and talk about what this is. So obviously, when we had a lot of risk off there, gold was still rallying, continuing the rally. That was just the traditional store of value. Digital money had really been shunned a little bit, even though strategy was still buying up, in the last 2 weeks. But we have seen a recovery of digital strategy as well as software, and the store of value play is pushing high here. But actually, let's be a bit more specific. We got Michael Saylor there targeting the TradeFi a private sector market for private credit. We're talking about private credit, money market, bond markets, those sort of things with their stretch product, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And they are basically vampiring that whole market. I mean, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of trillions of dollars, and that's just begun, guys. And so we're going to talk about the numbers at the moment, and I'm expecting that to scale up from 2 weeks ago to into the future. That's going to scale up big time. So we're here at such a wonderful time, and I think we've just seen the opening market moves in the last 24 hours in particular, but also we've just broken through a bit of a range here for Bitcoin. So here on Coinbase, we've got the low of Bitcoin, local low here was $60,000. We are moving up here, and we've just broken through this range, right? So particularly broken through 70K. 72 was a very key mark that we broke through that, and now we're also over the 50-day moving average at 72,900, and we're now here at 74,000 with a peak today, guys, of 76K. I mean, come on, that is fantastic. That's fantastic. Yeah. So we have got a nice costy on the 50-day. Obviously, we've got a turning around. It looks at the moment we need a bit more push to the upside, but I think we're going to get that, right? I think we're going to get that. And particularly tomorrow when we get the stretch product, I think opening up for a new capital coming in. And here we are pushing higher. So we'll probably head up, and that's going to head towards the golden cross, guys. Remember that? We had a death cross all the way here November last year. Remember we had the liquidation event in the markets on the 10th of October. It has taken us all that time, the 10th of October there. Look at that big red candle. And that was that, stablecoin glitch, as they would say. And here we are, 158 days later. It's pretty crazy, but we are starting to recover, right? I think we have really hit the bottom there, and we are starting to recover. It looks very, very incredible. We're getting structural change, institutional change. We're targeting the private credit market as amongst other things. And it has taken off. It's really taken off. And during this time, we saw a lot of institutions coming in, buying strategy, buying Bitmine immersion shares, participating in the credit market. and also the capital raising market, and it's game on. I think game on. Pretty awesome. We're also seeing Michael Saylor out there, which we'll talk about in a minute, doing a lot of cool conversations. We'll talk about that in a second. So this is the breakout here. We've got a very key line here. When we head up to that golden cross, guys, I think it's going to be truly glorious. So we've got a lot of re-rating going on here, and this is when we're going to start to, over time in the future, start to head towards that 150 to 400K. I mean, we're probably in that zone, right? 150 to 400K mark, and probably to the upside as we go. So keep a lookout, guys. It is on. The game is on, in my view. Now, you guys can have a contrarian view, fine. But you go do your research, and if you've done a research, that's your view, great. But actually, I'm going to show you that actually it's game on. It's game on. So here we are at 74,400. Here we're just starting to take off. It really is the beginning. This is where the magic money is made, guys. This is where the magic money is made. Obviously, crypto is very volatile, but we've got a game-changing thing happening here. I think we've got, to some degree, a transformation of the money system here, going from traditional markets into blockchain, and it's going to be huge. And of course, stablecoins will be leading the way on that, right? We've seen a real boom in stablecoins. Even last week, Circle had $2 billion issuance. It's just game on. Circle's doubled in price. It is, and we're expecting trillions, possibly $1.5 trillion by next year. Scott Bessent talks about $4 trillion by 2030. We've already got the Genius Act kicking in this July with regulations, and has to be in place by January 27. It's game on, guys. It's game on. We've obviously got the Clarity Act. We're really after that. This regulatory clarity there, and we're really after that. And so that's still the only sticking point. But man, that's just a major catalyst. But in the meantime, we've got the fundamentals are still going, and I'm going to show you how it is. We've got structural things from key players with these digital asset treasuries, but we've also got these mega themes all playing out regardless of the Clarity Act at this stage. The Clarity Act is going to open up the dam to another whole 5 levels high. I mean, it's going to be pretty crazy, guys. So this is kind of where we are right now on the old Bitcoin, looking pretty good there. So I want to talk about Michael Saylor. We'll keep it in context. I'm going to move this over here because we're going to talk about Bitmine later on. So we'll keep ETH for a conversation in a minute. But both of these two chains are the chosen ones. They're the chains, Bitcoin and ETH, with 90% of the volume. Think about that. 90% of the volume is where big players can come in and go out. Now, often you complain because you're out there possibly, speculating in small little pools, small little liquidity, where the big players they don't even care about that. Small little retail players, even if you think it's a great product and we've got great projects, they're still small. And so Bitcoin and Ethereum, they have 90% of the trading volume. That's the main game. Those are the main chains. That's where all the money's coming. And so you really have to have that as a basis, I think, of your portfolio, because it's magic carpet ride time now on those chains, right? It's going to be absolutely huge. So we've got Richard Hart on Pulsechain, but we've got Michael Saylor and Tom Lee on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Think of it like that. It's a good way of thinking about it. So let's break this down a little bit more. We're going to get into the big news that came out 15 hours ago. Michael Saylor there. And of course, he said Strategy has acquired 22,000. Think about that. 22,337 Bitcoin for 1.57 billion at a price of $70.194. Now, he doesn't really care too much about the price. Obviously, cheaper is better, but he's already said he's going to keep buying year after year after year, decade after decade, at least for a good 20 years, all the Bitcoin up. And of course, Bitcoin's going to get scarce. We just went past the 20 millionth Bitcoin mined. There's only 1 million left to mine. We've got a halving, I think, coming up in, 2 years, I think, something like that. We've got Bitcoin miners at the moment only mining about 450 blocks a day. And of course, MicroStrategy's buying 7, 8, 10 times that. Maybe probably much more in the future. So the miner yield is not even going to impact the market, right? It's not even going to impact. We've got one player buying all of that and 10 times more, right? And 20 times more probably in the future. So pretty huge there. Just divide 22, divide by 7, and then divide that by the 450 per day. I mean, it gives you an idea. So we've got Strategy has acquired 22,337 Bitcoin, 1.57 billion at $70,200 per Bitcoin. As of the 15th of March, we hodl, that is Strategy, hodls 761,068 Bitcoin. So they are about to eclipse the ETF. So the ETF is about 10,000 Bitcoin ahead of them, and they're about to eclipse. I think the IBIT one? Yeah, it's so close, guys. These are the two big players, and the ETFs are going to be left in the dust, by the way. At least that ETF is going to be less than the dust by strategy here. So we hold 761,000 BTC acquired for 57.6 billion, and that is an average rate of $75,700 pretty much. And of course, we're just underneath that right now, right? So 75, this is rounded at 76. We're at 74,500. So we're only about $2,000 below that. And that means that they've got unrealized losses, right? But it's kind of meaningless. They were way worse off when we got down to 60K, right? So we're back up another 14, 15K. So unrealized losses just get wiped off. As long as you never realize them, you're in the money, right? And so that's the play. So it's pretty awesome. So this is the big update there. Let's jump into a bit more deep dive. That's the overview. This was huge news, and the market absolutely loved it, right? The market absolutely loved it. It was pretty exciting. So let's go to the strategy there. We're going to have a look at their document. Just trying to go to the form there. Yeah, we'll go to the form. And this is their what they call a 8K form for their weekly disclosure that they have to submit. And it comes out at 8 a.m., I think. Oh, 8 p.m. Yeah, 8 p.m. in the market, I think, when it's open. 8 a.m. 8 a.m. I think it's 8 a.m. there. I think the market opens at 9:30 a.m. I think it is. Eastern. So it comes out before the market about an hour and a half. So you got pre-market trading, you got the market opening hours, which is about 6.5 hours, and then you have after-market trading, right? So you got 3 times the trading there at the moment. And of course, recently we talked about Kraken and X shares, right? So they're trying to get ubiquitous past Kraken, but Kraken is a key player, and of course, Kraken is a key player not only with Nasdaq. But those things seem to be tied into Tom Lee and Bitmine immersion. There's a lot of big plays been happening here, folks. It is ginormous, and it is a game changer. That's why it's very important there. So let's look at what they actually raised. So with the stretch stocks, this is the preferred stock, non-normal common stock here. Typically, they were raising a lot of their money. 3 weeks ago, they were raising most of their money with their MSTR stock, right? So common stock. And they were selling shares above the MNAV, and of course the MNAV was about 1.2, and they've been selling shares above that, and then buying Bitcoin with it, right? So it's modestly, accretive, let's say. I think even most possibly dilutive at some stages. But what we're seeing now is this new, not new. It was been around since the end of last year. I think about September or something like that. But stretch product there has just started ramping up the last 2 weeks. And it has been an absolute game changer, and it is targeting the private credit markets. So money market, bond market, private credit. So those typically offer yield, between maybe 2 and 7%. But now you've got stretch offering 11.5%. So it's going to completely cannibalize the private credit market and the traditional markets. And we're talking about hundreds of trillions of dollars. It's all going to start bleeding over to strategy. So we're only 2 weeks into it. But it just looks like it's gaining momentum from week to week, and the word's getting out, and the institutions, everybody's coming to pick up this high yield. Pretty awesome. So if you think about the yield, if you're only paying out, $1 billion a year in yield, but you're making, 1.3 billion in a week, then on capital gain, then it's a no-brainer, right? So there's some numbers out there about CARG. About your return you might earn on Bitcoin, but let's say you're doing 23% a year. Then if you're paying 11.5%, then you're well in the money on the capital gain there, right? So it's a profitable business, right? And it's going to completely cannibalize a lot of the money market, bond market yields, and of course private credit as well, which is slightly higher returns but riskier. So it's really a game changer. I just can't say that enough. So hopefully I'm communicating it well enough that you guys get the idea. But it is a pretty big deal there. So 11.8 million shares sold, $1.1 billion raised, guys. And then, of course, they still raised a little bit of MST common stock. And that was a 396 million, pretty modest. So that's really changed. They flipped it on their head since last week, where it was like, I think about a 40-60 ratio. So they flipped that on the head, and now Stretch is now the dominant player there. What's 75% or something? Total capital raise was almost $1.6 billion. And of course, what did they do with it? They went and bought all this Bitcoin, 22,337. Remember the first week they really took off with the stretch product, it was 18,000 Bitcoin, and MSTR was still the common way of raising capital, what they call at the market, based on a MNAV that's greater than 1, right? So it's about 1.2 or something. And so here we got The average purchase price of those was $70,194. We saw that in the release that I just talked about with Michael Saylor. And with that 22,337, and now it's 761,000 Bitcoin, which is amazing. They're heading towards 1 million. Remember, that's their initial target. They could potentially go even higher, up to 2 million if you think about it, because, network effect, you don't want to damage that. And that's typically between about 10 or 12%. But I think it's even lower on Bitcoin because, there's about 4 million Bitcoin lost, as many people say. So there's a lot less Bitcoin around. Plus the, Satoshi's wallet's got about 1 million in it. So, that's 5 million. So there's just less around, I think, relative to Ethereum. And of course, Ethereum has had, probably about 1 million inflation since it had its ERP upgrade, right? So there's a few differences there, I would say. But that's kind of where we are right now. And so the total amount they've got 761,000. That's about 10,000 lower than the IBIT ETF, and so they're about to surpass it. Probably next week they'll also be surpassing the ETFs, and that will be the biggest institutional corporate holder of Bitcoin, and of course well on its way. If you're starting to add 18,000, 22,000, and you add more next week, 25,000, 30,000, you're starting to run away right towards that 1 million. It was a huge thing. And of course, as you take supply off the market, then you are raising the potential price fall for Bitcoin, all things equal, right? And the momentum's huge. It also is leadership, so it's confidence. It's driving value, right? So people say, "Oh, private sector's moving trillions of dollars into Bitcoin. Holy crap, we all got to get in, right? We all got to get in." So this is how magnificent this is, as Saylor is, vampiring the credit markets from TradeFi, and it's just that yield differential. Now the thing with Stretch, it's a preferred stock, so they can actually change the yield if it's under $100 par. So they can, obviously that will get discounted after it goes through its a claim phase. We just went through that on the 15th. I think on the 14th it ended 15th, and so that will go through again for the next month. But they also have other products that work every 2 weeks, so it's a different thing, SATA. But just focusing on the Stretch, it is a big deal. So watch this thing build, guys. It's like a snowball that's actually about to get mega huge. So massive stuff there. Now, if you guys are loving this content, don't forget to join Strategy Club if you want all the alpha when it comes in. A lot more than what I'm talking about on live stream. Then get in. But the QR code just below me on the video there, just over $1 a day to join up. So super cheap, great value. And of course, also links in the video description and pinned to the top of X there. So join up today. All right, so that is pretty much that on that. So that is some of the highlights there from Michael Saylor. This guy is doing something this is mind-boggling. You think about it. Tapping into that private sector market, funding, taking all that bond, that low-risk capital, and offering them high yield forever. I mean, imagine your retirement, guys. You got retirement, and you're sitting here earning 11.5%, and they can move it around from time to time, but you're basically earning this high yield. You're laughing yourself silly, man. Why earn 2% in the bank with your retirement when you can earn 11.5% and live like a king? Right? Live like a king. All right, so that's kind of some of the ideas there. It's lots of things happening there. We're also seeing third and fourth layers on a build on top of this, right? So entities coming in with exchange traded funds on top, ETPs on it, right? Exchange traded products on top of that, which are going to, you're kind of losing your custodial a little bit, but you're getting that yield. As long as they're regulated and trusted, you should be fine in most cases. So you got all that sort of stuff going on as well. And that's just beginning. It's just beginning, guys. And what that does is it opens up ease of use to access these products as well for the retail book, not just the big money, institutional, Wall Street, etc. And so you can see it's just going to run away, guys. It's going to run away. Bitcoin is going to be the ultimate store of value in the world. It's fixed, remember, and of course the US dollar is debasing, right? So you've got all these other things going on in the background. All right, so let's scroll moving forward past that. So just zooming down into the Stretch preferred stock itself, we saw the estimate here was 1.1 billion, pretty close. 15,247 estimated acquired Bitcoin. That was this week. Of course, we're looking forward to the opening, which I believe would be tomorrow. So we'll keep a lookout for that for the new update. But this week we had all these purchases. So it started off on Monday last week on the 9th of March at 173 million. This was how much at the market was captured through being above $100. and then we've obviously got 242 million, 252 million, and then 402 million on the 12th. And then, of course, the Friday there was closed off, right? So for the end of the month call, and of course, people get paid out. I think 2 weeks later is the payout at the end of the month. So that's cool. 1.1 billion, amazing stuff, right? Amazing stuff. And what we've got now is the price of a stretch is at $99.82. So what we need to do is see that go to $100 or more, and therefore it will start raising money at the market, right? So that's why we're not seeing anything quite today. But the price is moving higher. So I can't remember exactly where it went to after the last declared date snapshot of holders, but I think it was about 99.36 or something like that. I can't remember the exact number, but it's heading back towards $100. Once it gets over the $100, that's when it starts basically issuing new shares, and people then raise capital buying those new shares, and that brings the stretch price back to $100. That $100 fluctuation is the key part there. So keep a lookout for that. We're going to be looking for that to raise a big capital, and we're expecting even bigger amounts coming in, guys, to flood into that. It could be pretty glorious. So keep a lookout for that. All right, so that is coming up. Probably tomorrow we might have some of that action. Very cool. Now let's look at the treasury analysis and just see where Bitmine strategy is at the moment. So we've got strategy at 761,000 Bitcoin, which is pretty awesome. We've got the MNAV at the moment at 1.18. So I said 1.2, so 1.18 at the moment. And the market cap at $50.9 billion. Not bad. What else are we going to say about that? Return for the week, 6%. For the month, 10%. So we're obviously still down on longer horizons, but that's going to disappear pretty quickly, I think. The second biggest treasury on Bitcoin is Mara there, and of course we've got 21 Capital and then Metaplanet. Now Metaplanet is is based in Florida, but for the Japanese market, we're expecting a similar product there. With announcements this week on that they're going to do a similar product to Stretch, and so we're going to have two big little private sector funding products start funding the purchase of Bitcoin, this time for Metaplanet there. So that was big news over the last week as well. So fun times, guys. Fun times indeed. This is historic, truly historic, truly magnificent, huge. It is a game changer. Keep watching week after week. We are expecting it to go up and up, and do not be surprised if we start getting billion-dollar days in the ATM capital raise in the market here. Like I said to you last week, was an astounding. On Thursday we had 402 million, and that was an estimated Bitcoin purchase of 5,700. Imagine a billion. Now, obviously, it's subject to the price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin keeps going up, it will purchase less, but that is a magnificent ATM at the market. Issuance of Stretch, and of course capital raising. So they get the nice yield of 11.5%. They give you your money, and you go and buy Bitcoin with it. And that Bitcoin, of course, will go into the treasury, and of course the common stock MSTR holds that. So that's kind of the base idea there. Exciting times, right? Exciting times. Watch this Bitcoin chart. It is going to be a lot of fun moving forward. Not only recently, but the future is looking mega bright. So you're at the beginning of takeoff time. Very cool. So let's jump over to that is the Bitcoin stuff leading the way. But the other thing that we've got is we've got double whammy. We've got double whammy. We've not only got Bitcoin, but we've got the Ethereum. So Bitcoin is the store of value, vampiring the private sector market, bond markets and all that. Well, Ethereum is vampiring the general finance market, right? Even more broader with the stable coins and with DeFi. And of course, all the TradeFi banks coming over, tokenization, AI revenue, creator revenue, it's all coming to Ethereum. And of course, that's also in the future going to include some quant protection and also the privacy side of things that Vitalik stuff. There's lots of cool things coming in place for that. So at the moment, of course, we saw Ethereum there also moving strongly, which is relatively underperformed compared to Bitcoin, right? So it really kind of missed out on the rise here, and now, but it is set up now for the rise. So might have missed it, last year or so when Bitcoin was doing particularly well. But here we are about to do some awesome stuff. So we've got 4,900, but I think we're going to really break away from that 5K mark this time. This time it's game on, and we're going to show you why. So we came all the way down here. We got down to a low of 1742, not too far from Tom DeMark, who's advisory for Bitmine Immersion, and Tom Lee. He's a famous timing market guru, and he's pretty much been on the money. We popped down around the $1,800 mark again, but we were trapped in this range. We also had a death cross here on the daily back on the 24th of November, about a week after Bitcoin. But we're starting to get a curl up now. We got a big break above that 50 moving average at 2,218. We got the 200-day moving average up at 2,833. That's a nice target to hold, isn't it? Nice target. And it's game on. It really is the beginning of something special here. So not only did we have a big announcement from Strategy and their big 22,000 Bitcoin purchase at an increasing weekly rate, and the forward book looking fantastic, we've also got a Bitmine Immersion doing some pretty awesome stuff. So they announced also at 8 o'clock at the opening of before the opening of the market, they announced their Bitmine numbers. Now, if you'd been in Strategy Club, of course, you would have got all this stuff as it came out. I posted it within about 10-15 minutes of when it was published. So you would have got that straight off the bat. So well worth getting into Strategy Club. Plus, I posted a lot of more other stuff supporting the insights around it. So you definitely want to get in Strategy Club. Like I say, QR code there sitting in front. Just use your phone or use the links in the video description or pin to X to join up. So we got Bitmine provided its latest holdings update for March the 16th, 2026. $11.5 billion in total crypto. So that's going up, obviously, with Ethereum. As Ethereum goes up, it all goes up. Plus Moonshots. Moonshots is a little misleading. So Moonshots there, Apple, I think, has a Moonshots, I think it was, or Google, or something like that. This is a little misleading. This is it's actually a new financial system, or at least a Berkshire Hathaway type of a business that's being built here. It is very, very clever, so it's just the beginning. So we got an increase to 4.6 million ETH. Can you believe it? So they purchased a ton of ETH, about 61,000 ETH last week, 61,000 ETH this week. That's both a jump up from about 55,000, 50,000 ETH from the previous 2 weeks. And so they have been a key entity in holding up this price range here, right? And actually, their purchase have played a significant role over the weeks to hold this price up, giving us really good institutional structure support there. And it's pretty amazing, right? Pretty amazing. They also obviously got their old legacy. Bitmine used to be a Bitcoin miner, still got 196 Bitcoin there. Some of the key takeaways here is that they had a 200 million stake in Mr. Beast. That money was essentially used for Mr. Beast to buy an app called Leap, which they got for a discount in the market, and they're going to be using that for monetizing Generation Z and Generation Alpha, as well as probably part of the millennial generation. So huge target market there. Of course, Mr. Beast reaches about 1 billion people and about 500 million every month. So, and that's just probably going to grow. And of course, he's expanding into the financial markets, which I think is going to be the most valuable thing to him because money is so more valuable there compared to consumables and other things that he's been doing, like entertainment, content, etc. He's also going to be doing creative markets and everything else. So Mr. Beast is going to be a giant corporate entity, currently worth about $5 billion. That's nothing. He's going to be worth $1 trillion plus once they open this up to IPO and all sorts of stuff. And of course, Bitmine has early access to that as well. But it's bigger than that because Tom Lee at Bitmine is integrating a whole ton of major players on the back of Mr. Beast. And this is how big this thing is. It's going to be absolutely massive. Not only is Tom Lee going to be a bridge between TradeFi, traditional markets, Wall Street, NASDAQ, etc., and the blockchain and Ethereum, he's not only going to be a bridge and help take these companies over to do, tokenization, stablecoins, etc., and staking, obviously yield. But he's obviously reaching out across the social content. He's basically taking mass adoption and bringing it to those two markets, the TradeFi, which is coming over to over to Ethereum and Ethereum itself. So he's matching those two together. The audience, which is the holy grail, right? Everyone's trying to do that. The Crypto Night Show plays its role in doing that on Pulsechain, and that's kind of the play. Now, this is where the expanding of this ecosystem is happening, this takeover. 83 million stake in 8Co there holdings. That's a NASDAQ company, and it's called Orbs. And, of course, that is doing digital identity as well as AI. And, of course, that's all going to be matched in and integrated with Mr. Beast as well. So keep a lookout for these offerings that are coming up this year. They'll be out this year. So keep a lookout for that. Total cash on hand, a staggering 1.2 billion, just like last week, and yet they've raised all this capital for 8Co in the meantime, and they've bought more ETH. So more capital being raised, right? More capital being raised in addition. So Tom Lee there, absolutely crushing it. And of course, we also see a lot of relationships coming in. Kathy Woods from ARK, and of course 8Co as well. It is a game changer there. Mr. Beast, all integrating. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. Massive, way bigger than Ethereum, way bigger. There's a bigger vision. So we had Bitmine measured and staked 3.3 million. Now, they haven't really increased their staking. Have you seen that since the 17th of February? It's pretty much been the same because they have Maven coming out, right? Made in America. And that is Make in America Validated Network. That is coming up in 2026. Now, I do believe it may be out before the end of March, right? So they did say first quarter. They do have different commentaries on that, but I still think it's a good chance it may be out before the end of March. And probably the reason why we haven't seen any increase in staking here. We know that the staking queue itself is about 3.5 million, I think, at the moment. No one really wants to unstake because they see what's happening, right? All the big players are coming into staking. Why would you leave? Why would you leave? It's like it is game on. We also saw the ETH Foundation staking a bit too, as well as selling some ETH to Bitmine Immersion, which we'll talk about. But they've got their Maven network staking, which is going to try and get higher yield. And so we're going to see that probably this 1.2 million, that could be used to buy 550,000 more ETH, like a big purchase. He has said that they got enough money to buy a big purchase. The alternative was to do something like buy SBET, the second biggest ETH treasury. But of course, SBET is doing quite a lot in the DeFi space as well. They're actually doing some really good stuff in the DeFi space. So I don't know whether that one's actually going to play out. And maybe he still does OTC and buy off the market, things like that. He has been doing a lot of deals to get a lot of the ETH. And he's been working with 3 exchanges, particularly Kraken Exchange. And of course, Kraken is tied into NASDAQ, as we saw recently with the X stocks. Kraken is also tied into Bitmine Immersion, and of course, LinkedIn probably to Mr. Beast. So it's all coming together, these key players. And of course, Tom Lee's right in the middle of it, right in the middle of it. And so we got made. So they're basically what they're building. They're building something spectacular. They're building something spectacular, and this is the beginning of it, right? So pretty exciting stuff. So just to look at the income that they're going to be earning as well. Just as the 5% put, as Tom Lee would call it. They at the moment with 4.6 million ETH, if they're fully staked, their income would be $272 million a year at the current price of ETH. Well, at least the price it was then. The price has gone up since they did this chart. And so, about 180 million or so at the current staking of 3 million ETH. But once they get to their target of 6 million ETH, which is 5%, they will be at 358 million at the current price when they did this chart. Obviously, the price of ETH has already gone up. But this is ETH at 2,200 or 2,100, right? It's 358 million. So imagine ETH at $20,000 or $10,000, and you're up, at 1.5 billion in income at $10,000. You see what I mean? And this is an absolute juggernaut. So just a cash cow, and they're using that cash, at least 5% of it, to pull all these other key players to take over the financial system in many ways, right? They're taking TradeFi over the blockchain. They're doing the tokenization, and they're doing probably getting the stable coins and other stuff. They're doing the staking. They're helping people come over to stake, showing them how it's all done, giving them a great yield, managing it, taking some fees. There's lots of things happening here. Getting mass adoption with Mr. Beast, integrating Mr. It's just an absolutely beautiful thing. Supply and demand thing's crazy. So this is pretty cool. Tom Lee is all in, right? He's all in. So Tom Lee says, since the start of the Iran war, crypto prices have outperformed, and Ethereum has outperformed the S&P 500 by about 2,450 basis points. This is a meaningful outperformance in a mere 2 weeks. In our view, higher oil is triggering concerns of slower growth for the global economy, and when investors worry about growth, they buy growth stocks, including the Mag 7, so that's a Magnificent 7, thinking like Tesla and NVIDIA, things like that. Software, of course, and crypto. And crypto is kind of a software, so that's where all links in. As the chart below shows, crypto moves in tandem with software stocks, and that's some of the key stuff there. So we've got Bitcoin on the rise there. We've got Ethereum on the rise there over the Iran oil issue. And then we've got, obviously, crypto being correlated with software there and it's moving up as well. So those are some of the arguments there. So that's pretty cool. In the past week, also Bitmine has made 2 strategic moves, and this is where it's really key to keep look up on this. That's why it's such a good idea to be in Strategy Club. So just remember that as well. What else there? So yeah, we got first Bitmine increases its investment in existing moonshots, 8Co, and of course by an additional 80 million. Remember they got to 1.2 billion in cash. I mean, it's crazy. Orbs acquire a 50 million equity stake in OpenAI and a 25 million equity stake in Mr. Beast Industries. Think about that. So Orbs doing digital ID and AI. So you've got, not only have you got the crypto play, you got the Mr. Beast play. Now you've got AI and you've got digital ID. I mean, we don't like digital ID that much, of course, because it's against freedom ultimately. It's great for signing up things, but actually, this is part of the control. But Orbs is going to be at the frontier of it, so you're getting all this in one play. So you're getting everything: crypto play, Mr. Beast play. You're getting AI play. You're getting digital ID play, all in one place. And now you're adding in OpenAI. So you're adding an OpenAI, and of course they are the only corporate one here with an access to OpenAI. So now you're getting that, and look how good this is going to be. So Orbs is now the only publicly listed equity in the world to give investors direct exposure to OpenAI. So pretty awesome there. OpenAI has a much anticipated IPO in 2026. Remember that because a lot of the stuff is going to land in 26, right? Not just 27, but 26 with Mr. Beast and his app and everything else. It's going to be crazy. And of course, Bitmine Mission app is coming out. What services will be offered, all this stuff is going to start hitting. And you can see, I think the premium above the MNAV is going to get pretty sick as this adds additional value at a large number, I think, over time. So OpenAI is a much anticipated IPO in 2026. Investors can now get direct exposure via Orbs. So if you think Mr. Beast is going to go to $1 trillion plus on their open, if you think that OpenAI is going to go to $1 trillion plus on their open, you can suddenly see the value add of having a share of that in Bitmine immersion. And that's also part of the integrated solution. So it's a pretty game changer there. So OpenAI has much anticipated IPO in 2026. Investors can now get direct exposure via Orbs. Moreover, we see a lot of synergy between WorldChain, a proof of human, and leading AI platform OpenAI. And of course, they've got a stake in both of those now, right? And the world's great content creator, Mr. Beast. And this is the first time they kind of tag these in together. And so now you can see the vision coming together here, well above the staking glory that they're going to have at 5% and all the income they're going to earn, potentially into the billions once ETH gets up to 10 to 20K. This is all above this, all beyond that. And it's a takeover of the market with Mr. Beast, getting everybody, all those people in Generation Z and Alpha and all that to buy it, and also proof of human and AI. So there's, in terms of financial gain, there's a lot of huge upside here. Obviously, there's always going to be questions about control, but we're going to have to face that in the future anyway, right? Because we're going to have potentially satellites everywhere, AI everywhere, humanoid robots everywhere. Who controls those, right? We know that humans are pretty bad. They like to take over, and you're going to have lasers and all sorts of things. I mean, it's going to be pretty. It's going to be great, but it's also going to be a nightmare. It's going to be one of those two. We've got 8Co is bringing Kathy Wood's ARK. So we've got ARK's investments coming in here on a strategic advisory, further increasing the appeals of Orb. So we're getting this tight group here of some key players. So think about it. We've got Mr. Beast, we've got Bitmine Immersion, we've got ARK Investments, we've got NASDAQ, we've got Kraken. All these players are coming together, guys, creating something of a takeover of the financial system because they see everything coming from TradeFi, right? We've got a Bitmine, we've got strategy from Michael Saylor, vampiring the private credit market, that hundreds of trillions of bond, money market, etc. And now we've got Tom Lee here vampiring the US dollar and the stable coins, the tokenization of stocks and financial services. And now actually not only taking those over to a new system of the blockchain, but also mass adopting it, getting mass adoption as well as institutional adoption through to Mr. Beast. And of course, he's got 1/3 of the people online following him, right? And he's probably only just going to get better, bigger and bigger. So you can see the vision's getting really massive. Second, Bitmine acquired 5,000 ETH from Ethereum Foundation. So they're also working with the Ethereum Foundation there, enabling Ethereum Foundation to fund its core operations. So without dumping on the market. So, obviously you get a lot of criticism. We see Vitalik and other people do that. Bitmine acquired the ETH to demonstrate our support for the goals and operations of Ethereum Foundation, and enabled Ethereum Foundation to raise capital without having to sell its ETH in the open market. And of course, we also saw the Ethereum Foundation do some staking as well. So they're trying to do their best, fund themselves while also fund the future, I guess. So that was pretty cool. We also have the weekly buys there. Like I say, on the 8th of March, it was 61,000. Once again, on the 15th of March, it was 15th. And of course, Tom Lee has indicated that there could be a big buy. And of course, the timing of the market he thought would be the bottom was the 14th. We're now on the 16th of March, US time. And so I think we could possibly get a big buy this week, guys. It could possibly happen. We may see even more glory in this chart. Obviously, we're getting a bit of profit taking after that rise right now. When it rose to get up to 2,386, we're now down at 2,300. But actually, is that big buy coming out in this week? Is that what they're going to do? Assuming they don't, try and buy some other treasury off the market. And obviously, are they going to try and continue to buy other people's Ethereum, or are they going to, buy a decent amount off the market? And of course, they've got 3 exchanges, entities that they do that with. So that's kind of the play. And also, we've got Bitmine Immersion coming out, possibly Maven staking coming out, their awesome product, which is also going to serve other customers, not just on Ethereum, but Solana and other chains. And of course, will they be putting all the rest of their ETH in there, plus buying more ETH to put in there, as well as the third-party stuff? That's all big short-term announcements. That could be hyper bullish as well. It's going to be a pretty crazy time in the future. So the weeks in the future are going to be crazy with all the buying, with all the announcements with Maven. And in the medium term, we've got all these big heavyweight things coming together in 2026. It's going to be absolutely glorious. So it's Ethereum Plus, right? Ethereum Plus. So that's kind of the play right now. BMNR currently reigns as the largest ETH treasury and largest holder of ETH in the world. Second largest crypto treasury, only behind MicroStrategy's MSTR. They are the 2 heavyweights, guys. There would probably be another half a dozen players, both on Bitcoin and Ethereum, that are of significance, like SBET, for example, like Mara, like Planet. But these are the 2 heavyweights. These are the 2 leaders. These are the 2 that will likely have a big MNAV premium, and of course are going well and beyond that, right? So it's going to be pretty exciting to see all that play out. We've got a couple of people in the chat before we continue on. We've got Eros in the house there. Good to see Eros. Welcome. We've got Get Hex in the house, as always. A pleasure. 2 bananas there. Yeah, eating some bananas there. Pretty cool. So that is some of the BMNR there, but we've got more, guys. We've got more. So BMR started the day at 0.97 MNAV. This is kind of a short-term thing. We talked about all the big stuff, and finished at 1.03. 1.03 said MNAV there. Now in premium. So let's see. I mean, the premium could get up to 2. And that means the premium means that you're getting a lot more value than just buying ETH by itself, right? So if it gets up to 2, you get 2 times more ETH effectively. So it's a leverage play, right? But as I said, these guys are doing a much bigger thing than being the number 1 treasury. These guys are actually leading creating a new, what would call it, a new financial enterprise, as it were, to take over the new monetary system as it migrates from TradeFi into the blockchain. And they basically saw that opportunity, and Tom Lee is going with it, right? He's been around crypto for a long time, as well as being well connected as one of the leaders in the TradeFi markets on Wall Street, etc., and arguably maybe the best number 1 retail strategist in the world, right, for TradeFi in particular. But he has that crossover ability, right, and you're seeing it in action. Pretty amazing. All right, so that is ETH right now, so keep a look at that. We could have an exciting week or 2 ahead of us. And of course, breakup volumes here looking exciting. So obviously 2,500 is a nice next target. And then of course this 2,800, in my view, is the next one there, 2,800. So keep a look out for that. And maybe we'll get the big buy this week. And they've got a lot of money to buy 550,000 ETH or something if they choose to do it that way. Now, they might just choose to do 250,000 or something like that. It could be something smaller. We'll see how exactly Tom Lee plays that out. He's got a number of bows, a number of tricks to do that. All right, so that is it at the moment. And of course, that as ETH goes up, their price goes, like their value goes up. Instead of 11 billion, 11.5 billion, they goes up to 15, 20, and they've got unrealized losses as well. But it's all going to get wiped away once ETH starts rising through the ranks there. Man, it's exciting. It's exciting. All right, so that is the big coverage there. These guys are game changers, guys, for the whole of crypto. Remember, 90% of volume is going through Bitcoin and Ethereum. You can now see that we've got a structural change happening. We've got a historical change in the financial markets happening from TradeFi to blockchain. The game is on, and it's exciting. The only kind of wild card at the moment is that Clarity Act. We're hoping that it gets done. Obviously under the Republicans there. Hopefully by April would be wonderful. We'll see. Obviously the midterms coming up, and so on. So we're going to keep tracking that. It was supposed to be done last year, if you remember, August, and then earlier this year, about February, I think it was. It failed both times. It's getting held up between the battle of the banks, because the banks are getting vampired, right? With the yield, and they see it. They're scared. They're scared, and they should be. We've got companies like Kraken that are almost banks, right? It's interesting times. We are seeing some smart players like MasterCard and that do a lot of partnerships with the centralized exchanges and other players, because they get it. They get it. They go, oh well, we better participate and protect and grow our business rather than be cannibalized over time. So that's an interesting thing happening right now. All right, so Pulsechain often moves late, right? Often moves late after the majors have moved, if it does move, and it's moved late today. But it's also doing a bit of a recovery after the ProofX launch. Obviously, launching another token just adds another place for capital to go. And if you got a certain amount of capital, that's where we are right now. But Pulsechain, it did recover. So we got there. We're back over 4 zeros, 109. We haven't left it behind yet, but we've attacked it many times. It's up 8% right now. Still super cheap. Still cheap though, but not as cheap as 5 zeros, 7,800, which is what the low has been so far, but certainly super cheap still. Pulsex at the moment is 5 zeros, 8,200, starting to move up a little bit. Still super cheap as well. With anytime it's got 5 zeros, it's got to be exceptionally cheap, and so on. So where do you value the market? Well, I think we've come off the bottom. I think the bottom is pretty much it. Now we can always go low if there is particularly negative news, but given the big picture items I've just talked about with Bitcoin and Ethereum, you can see actually things are looking pretty good, aren't they? They're looking pretty good, and Pulsechain will get dragged, and of course we can get a lot of chess moves from top DeFi on Pulsechain, as well as Richard Hart himself, right? We got our own Tom Lee, we got our own Michael Saylor, and of course he's got a big fat bag of ETH and a big fat bag of Bitcoin probably too. Now obviously the sacrifice stuff is separate from his own, but he was by all counts a early OG Bitcoin miner, and presumably, given his nature, he's probably still holding most of it, if not more, right? So that is the play. So we got at the moment, we got Pulsex at 5 zeros 82, up 7%. Buy and Burns sitting at 8.69%. Ink Token at the moment at 49 cents, up 4.8%. And then we've got Hex at the moment back at 0.2 of a penny, and it is up 9.9 and a third percent there. EHEX, I think, lifted a little bit there. EHEX a little sluggish, 0.0067, but actually has done pretty well in the ratio over the last couple of weeks, right? So not bad. Gedex says, thanks, Superman. Very informative. I appreciate that. Thanks for the feedback. So that is Pulsechain. Now we're just going through the markets. We're not looking at anything else. We did that earlier today. But let's zoom in now on Pulsechain's main fee coin, which is Pulse. We talked about Bitcoin. We're talking about Ethereum. So we're going to talk about Pulse now. And we can see the hourly chart here looking very positive. We had a nice big bit of volume coming in there. So some market makers following in the big news around Bitcoin, no doubt. This is the hourly charts only a couple of hours ago, so Bitcoin was moving it before that, though. But nice little move there, a bit late in the day, but often Pulsechain lags the majors, and here we are up there, and some big capital came in for sure. We got 245K there as well. Now, we just recently saw, I think in the last hour or so, we saw another $250,000 come over the bridge. I'm not sure whether it's a trader or whether it might be a Richard Hart, who knows, but that came out, and so yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But we're now at 4 zeros 109. We peaked out on that candle to 4 zeros 11.25, and we're up 8%. So looking quite good there on the hourly. But let's have a look at the trader's view, which is the 4 hour, and we can see the RSI is at 60. We are well over the 21 moving average for the 4 hours, but we have had a lot of volatility up and through that 21 moving average. But still, not bad there. Let's look at the daily. We've got plenty of room in the 4 hour to keep going up, of course. The daily here, I think we've got some resistance at 1200. I think we've kind of seen that at 1130 quite a few times, but probably 1200 is the mark there. You can see that over here on the horizontal. Got plenty of room on the RSI to move higher, 54. We are above the 21 day moving average, but we need a close, of course, over that. We didn't close yesterday over there. So we've still got a bit of work to do, right? Still, I've got a bit of work to do, but still looking positive on the back of ETH and Bitcoin. So if the market's moving higher, we're getting recovery, you can reasonably expect Pulsechain to probably battle to the upside. So more probable than not that we'll keep trying to battle to break out of there. But 1200 is the mark that we're looking forward to leave it behind, right? To leave it behind. What is this about? We're talking about Pulsechain, which is a full system stake fork of Ethereum, and it was founded by Richard Hart. So there we go. So that is Pulsechain right now. Looking at the weekly, a bit broader view, we can see the RSI coming off the bottom. So very, very optimistic here, given the climate we're in right now, 35, and we're starting to move up here. But 1200 is the mark. And then after that, we've got a zone of 1430 and the target there being 1600, right? So that's kind of the next range we'd expect to. If we get over 1600, game on, guys. Then we're on the rise, and the next one would be 2200. We'll be watching that. That could definitely play out easily with the amount of room we got in the RSI and with enough good news, etc. moving forward. Richard Hart's launched ProveX, which we're going to talk about in a minute, and he's got a number of chess moves he can make with that too, right? So that's what we're heading. So that is the Pulsechain chart for Pulsechain with a rat pulse. We're going to go to Hex as well. I want to look at Hex a little bit. Hex, of course, is one of the top 4 or 5 coins from the last bull market in 2025. It did a 10,000x, and this is the Pulsechain version, a copy of it, based on the 10th of May 2023, and of course launched on Pulsechain when Pulsechain launched on the 13th of May, 3 days later, and here we are, 0.2 of a penny. We did have a nice little power up in the last couple of hours. We powered all the way up to almost 1/100th of a penny. We're currently just at 0.2 of a penny right now, but we're over that. But let's have a look at the trading view of 4 hours. We've got plenty of room to move to the upside, 55, even more than the Pulse, of course, and everything else other than Pulse is a leverage on Pulse, arguably if it has Pulse peers. And here we are. We have moved over on the 4 hour over the 21 moving average, but once again, we've had a lot of volatility over this 21 moving average, so it's not been a confirmation, but that's the trader's view. And so we're going to look to try and confirm ourselves over here. The daily, however, gives a better sense of this. Obviously, we're powered back over the 21-day moving average. We've got everything, I think, to the upside. More likely than not, will go up. And we want a nice close over this 21 to set that. And, of course, we want to break a new level, right? So we want to break pretty much 2,200 on this as well. So we want to break that mark. So we want to get over 2,200th of a penny and move to the upside, right? The upside would be to try and from 2,200 is to try and tackle probably 2,500, and then I would say just go straight to 3,000, right? That's or 0.3 of a penny. That's where we want to go there with the Hex. But Hex has the smallest liquidity. So if we go to Hex, Hex has the smallest liquidity, so it's the easiest one to move up and down. It does have large players in it, and of course we've seen a lot of Hex stakes due, and of course a lot of Hex stakes that haven't been claimed come out. These are in seemingly third-party hands. And then we also today we had the OA with its big Hex come out, and of course that was restaked. Billions of Hex there restaked. I think it was 3.3 if I remember rightly. So that was restaked, and therefore that lowers inflation and also lowers the market cap, right? So it gives an upper chance to move the price higher there while having less inflation coming out. And that's been staked for a year. So good on your OA for that. I'm just going to double check the numbers on that. Make sure that I'm accurate about that, but I think that was the case. So the OA there coming out, was it the 17th? Yeah, 16th. Yeah, I think that's come out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the OA count. Yeah, the Hex OA, yeah, 3.3 billion Hex. So that has been a restaked there for about a year, I think, and that's what it's done. So another strong trust move there from the OA. All right, so that's kind of cool. And now let's go into, so it's got the smallest liquidity out of all the Richard Hart coins. You can see Pulsex is about 4.7 million. Ink token there is 2.8. So Hex is the smallest. ProveX is the second smallest. And then Ink is the third smallest or biggest, depending on which way you look at it. Pulse is the fourth. And then Pulsex is the biggest, 4.75 there in terms of liquidity. Easiest to move the smallest pools. Hex here is the easiest to move, and that's why I guess we see it move on the top trending. So we look at top trending, you can see Hex is actually moving up there relative to the other Richard Hart cores right now, right? So that is the play there. So it's also got a very large community, also got the legacy, particularly on the Ethereum side. That's the OG version of Hex. That's the one that's lagging behind because it's not on the Pulsechain, doesn't have the Pulsechain narrative directly, but it is connected and has performed pretty well ratio-wise, I think, over the last 2 months. And I know Fat Sammy's done some good commentary on eHex versus PHEX, or Hex on Ethereum versus Hex on Pulsechain. So interesting stuff there. So it does have the advantage of a big community. That's a big plus there. And of course, a lot of, I think, I saw some analysis, I think from Dipcatcher, if I remember rightly, something like a third of the Ethereum whales had actually interacted with Hex during the last bull market through to now. So, that means there's a lot of eyes, potentially big eyes on it. And of course, if Ethereum does well, they may do some rotation as well. You never know. So particularly on the Pulsechain side. So we'll keep a lookout for that. We also know that Dipcatcher's got a product called HexFlex. I think that's going to be launching. I think he's waiting for the market timing to improve. And that should also be a bullish thing for eHex, or Hex on Ethereum there. But this is PHEX that we're looking, Hex on Pulsechain, and plenty of room for this to move up as well. So keep a lookout for that. Kind of cool. All right, so that's some of that. Now, obviously, this is the latest coin that Richard Hart's launched with Prevex. Of course, this is a peer-to-peer privacy technology for trading, etc. Also to disintermediate the centralized exchanges, a true DeFi product, I guess is what you'd call it. And this is launched with a big sacrifice, and about 10% of the liquidity was used to issue stable coins and wrapped ETH on the Pulsechain. So most of the capital was raised on Ethereum. It's launched on Pulsechain, so it was a nice little move. And this is the first opening move. Is just to let it go live and then see what the sacrifice people will do with it. A couple of people like Bucket Mentors who facilitated the largest public sacrifice obviously got a lot of free coins. He's indicating that he's going to be diamond hands from the looks of it because he believes in what Richard Hart's going to do, and that this will be, I guess, the easiest one to get a victory and glory from, maybe lifting Pulsechain. We'll see how all that plays out, but that is the narrative. And of course, we've got, if you exclude the multiplier, then we've got a rate of, I think, about 0001. So that the market cap's still below that price, but that's not so relevant if you've got the best multiplier price. I believe that's around 3,200 to 35. So it's down here, and that means everybody in there is in the money. In other words, they're all profitable at the moment. Arguably, if that is correct for the Bucket Mentors public sacrifice, then that's about 131% on the money there. Now, what are they waiting for? They're waiting for a 3x, a 5x. The guys that wanted a 50% or 10%, are they out? That sort of stuff that goes on. Who's out? We definitely know some players did that. We've got some red candles there, and they were happy to take their money and run, right? Take 100 grand, get 20,000 or whatever, and then you're happy, right? That's kind of the play. They're not waiting around for another 100,000 or 300,000. And so have we got rid of all those people already? And now it's starting to float up there. We did have Richard Hart do a post there. We are kind of on day 3 now, if I remember rightly. Yeah, day 3. And we got a market cap of 93.5 million. I have my range, right? These two lines here were a range between 60 and 65 mil. Sorry, the 60 and 75 mil. I thought that was kind of fair value until the technology really rolls out. It's out in beta at the moment, right? It's out in beta. I think that's still got a lot of work to do. But that doesn't mean the market's not going to price at a premium, because market's going to maybe price forward, typically prices future things, right? Also, there's a bit of FOMO. It's brand new as well. And so far, the market's holding on. So we're at 93.5 mil. And we've got a bit of a room to move here to get back to even the base price, excluding multiplier. That's another 37%. And so that would be a pretty bullish thing. People might find that pretty bullish if it moves over that. We got pretty close to it on the opening, but still slightly shy. How close was that? Pretty close, about 10% off. We'll see. But in multipliers, it makes it a lot more cheaper, and they're still in the money from what I can see at the moment. There's a lot of people that are either break even or marginal, but definitely we're on the move up here right now. Nice little shape here going on too. Pretty cool. Now, we had a decision. Remember, I said that when we were doing the live stream, I think yesterday or the day before, and that was the decision that it was going to go up or break down. It was more likely to go up if we didn't get as many sellers as people saw, and people started believing in the technology and the view of Richard, and that seems to be the case. The more comments I see out there, the more common that is. Alternatively, it would have broken down as well. So let me go to the market cap, actually, because it's not quite right with the with the lines. Here's my lines with the market cap. Yeah, so 60 to 75, and it has tapped that. Like, did go into it, and it did tap it again at the top of 75, but it's gone up back to 93. And of course, we held a pretty nice mark here for a while, up at 100 mil. So we'll see how that goes. I still think that it's worth less than that, and if I was going to say real value relative to Hex and Pulsex, that was kind of the logic there. But people are pricing in the future. They're pricing in the future. It does look like that. Certainly not dumping as much. And we had a big market maker come in here as well, some big volume, and that pushed the price up. So a big market maker come in, and that can change things as well. You just don't know whether those market makers are going to come in that early, but that's definitely what happened right now, right? What else there? We've got Eros in the chat there. Hey, good to see you, Eros. All right, so that is the PROVEX there, and so far looking stronger than not at the moment. You can see in the chart. All right, so what else are we going to say about that? I think that sits up 12.73% right now. Liquidity is back to where it kind of was, around 1 million. There's the USDC pair. And let's have a quick look to see how many other pairs have popped up. That'd be pretty fun to see before we move on from PROVEX. The Richard's Heart's fifth coin, all right? Fifth coin, including EX, which is sixth coin, I guess. So we got, let's see what else we got here. So we got PROVEX Pulse, another pair there, pop up. So it's cool. We've got PROVEX Pulsex there, PROVEX Pulse. We've got some new smaller pools. These are smaller pools popped up. PROVEX DAI. I'm trying to look for third parties. What else do? I'm just trying to scroll down here a bit more. So we've got, have I got these in? So we've got PROVEX UFO now. So that's new. So we'll put that on the PROVEX bags. It's 26K. We already had Doubt Token and PTC, if you remember. We also got Dump Tires Gold. They're new, but they're very small, $1,000. We've got the Zero Knowledge Printer. This is from Kairos. This is a new one where you buy ZKP and you stake it and you earn PROVEX from Reflections, 5% Reflections there, I believe is the token for that. So that is what people were talking about yesterday. That's from Kairos from Emmett Farms. And then we've got a teddy bear there from James Maria. It's not much in there though. So really the key ones are Doubt Token. These are third party, UFO, PTC. They're quick into it. We know Peacock has also got a big pool, but it's not showing up here at the moment. On this one, we've got a small pool there, but not a big one. So that is kind of the play. If I go to the watch lists here, and we're going to go to PROVEX, and I'm pretty sure I got the Peacock one in here. Where's Peacock? No, it's not here. There is a Peacock one. It's not showing up for some reason. So that is the PROVEX. Moving to some of the top tokens right now that have been performing pretty well. Well, PTC has. It's had a big LP pool right through big incentive referral program that's been going pretty well. And what do we say about that? So they've been doing well with that, with the PTC, with the referral program. They've obviously got a big community, got some big influencers, Prairie Banana, B Roots, and others support it. So it's got all that in play. And they're really keen on doing marketing promotions. So they should definitely hit up the Kryptonite Show, because that's what we do on the Pulsechain. We do the best service for that. We're 001639. That is at the moment, so 001639. Let's look at the pulse ratio though. This is the daily candles for PTC. Definitely the first. It was the first DAO on the Pulsechain, and of course it's essentially set as one of the premium projects on Pulsechain. It did have a big retrace after having a massive run up, but it's certainly looking good here where it is right now, and potential for the upside. But the RSI is a bit hot, and so we'll see whether it manages to dip into oversold a bit more time. The weekly at the moment is just starting to head up to overbought, but still not quite there. So it's probably got a little bit of room to move higher. Here's the pulse ratio, right? That's the pulse ratio there. Look at US dollar. And we've got the RSI not fully heated yet at the weekly on the daily, so it's got a little bit, it got more room to move potentially. See if it can get to 1800 again. Maybe that's the top of it. The 4 hour there suggesting it's got a bit of room to move, but once again, it's going to face a little resistance there. But with the referral program, all their marketing stuff, Prairie Banana doing a great job. We'll see where that goes, but certainly one of the better projects on Pulsechain overall. Obviously, it has its pros and cons. Peacock, you can stake and lock your tokens and earn the yield, right? So it's got reflection token with that as well, and they were pretty quick to tie themselves into PROVEX too. Peacock obviously is the official token for Liberty Swap, And Liberty Swap there, of course, is bringing, man, they're building out quite the truly premier DeFi system on Pulsechain. And it is not just Pulsechain, it's multi-chain, right? So talking about, was a BNB chain, base chain, Polygon. They've got extensions into many other chains like Solana, SVM chains, really opening things up there in the frontier of privacy, intent-based trading, aggregation, bridging. What else? They've got coming up. They've got the wallet coming up. I mean, OMG, these guys are going to be huge. The airdrop, ZKX, and of course, they've got Liberty Lend and many other hooks can be hooked in, DeFi hooks, DeFi protocols hooked in to Liberty Swap 2.0. This thing is truly a juggernaut, and it's done pretty well, I think, overall. Got rotated a little bit like PTC did when ProofX launched, because it's probably where some people got their most profits in. But now it's starting to recover a little bit there as well, but still down at 1600, and also got rejected right a few times. So let's go to the 4 hourly chart here. Definitely got a little bit of recovery going on there. We're at 50 in the RSI, so plenty of room to move up here, sitting right here at the moment. Pulse ratio, of course, let's have a quick look at that. Getting a bit of a rebound there too on the 4 hour, just a little bit. So still a lot of upside there for me. And of course, daily there, just pushing over the 50-day moving average. 21 is up at 1700 on the pulse ratio. And so that's also down on the RSI about 45. A nice little area that's bounced from here. So looking pretty good, I think, in the 4 hour there, suggesting it's got plenty of room to move for recovery as well. We've got a negative cross here, but I think that will be overdone with. The weekly, of course, coming down here from 65, obviously had a lot of high value on it. Look at that, because it's been just delivering big stuff after big stuff, and it's not slowing down. And we're expecting that wallet come out, in April probably. So yeah, it just keeps delivering big heavyweight stuff. And then Liberty X, so Liberty Lend, I should say. So this team's going to get us continue to deliver new stuff all the time. They've got some upgrades, I think, today or tomorrow. So let's look forward to that too. All right, so that's kind of the play there right now. So we'll keep a lookout for that. Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. So those are two premier projects on Pulsechain in different categories, of course. Looking overall at the markets, let's see how we're doing for time here. We're at an hour and 12 minutes. We're going to wrap up in a couple of minutes. Eros, you've been busy in the chat there, I must say. So I'm going to quick look at some of your comments there. You're just shilling a few things there, I see. Keep up the good work there, Eros. What else there? We got, overall at the moment, we got predominance from OG WebChef up at 39%. Investor there from OG WebChef as well, up over $2, up 37%. So we've got a bit of a move with the OG WebChefs there at the top two. Liquid Loans has been up there as well at 15%, probably coming off the bottom. UFO, of course, with PGC up 15% there. ProofX back in the mix, so ProofX obviously moving higher. It wasn't there earlier today, remember? ProofX had moved down, but back on the list, up 13%. PTC the Greys mixed in there as well. Pulsex, Pump Tires Die up 12% there. Gopher is the first 404 contract from Dipcatcher on the old Pulsechain. It's up 10%, only at $33. Remember how much that used to be worth? It's several thousand, wasn't it? I think it was. DevCoin there, DevC up 10%. Pulse Puppy at number 15 up 10%. Those are the mix right now. UFO in the mix there, up 8.5% there. Pulsex, PTC, the Greys. Hex, of course, number 23, 26. We covered that. It's up 7.7%, back over 10 tenths of a penny. Keep a lookout for the Hex. Might really get some move on there. Smallest liquidity, remember. The OA staking, the other stakes not impacting too much. We'll see whether there's any wild whales around still, or whether it's time for Hex to really shine. Certainly showing another little recovery there. Vouch there, up about 6.9%. Vouch there got hit by, I think, a large seller on there. Still hasn't fully recovered here. Let's go to the price. Vouch, the number one validator on Pulsechain, so really is one of our top tier protocols, arguably. And so this is getting a little bounce here. 4 zeros with 1300, market cap down at 1.2 mil. Let's go to the weekly on this though. Yeah, that's kind of where we are. Yeah, we had that bit of volume sell in there, a big player. And the question is how, if someone's exiting Vouch, do they have to sell validators down? I don't know whether they were the explanation for the 800 validators that we saw lose or whatever that was. So I'm not, linking those, but it's possible, right? Possible. We have seen it before with the last Vouch sort of devaluing. So we'll see. Keep a lookout for that. Great product, I think, overall, though. What else we got going? So they're all up about 6%. We're going to scroll down here. Let's see who's not doing too well. So who's not doing too well right now? True Farm. No, well, it's not doing badly. I mean, it's 77 cents, down 6%. True Farm is pretty much a fork of Emmet Farm. True Farm's doing a great job with the DeFi expansion. I'm really excited about their 2x miner. People are getting 2x in their Pulse miners. They've been coming up the last couple of weeks, I think, those 2 weeks. And the yields keep getting delivered, right? So they keep delivering on True Farms and good coverage in the Monster thread too. So they're doing pretty well there. And they're looking to expand their DeFi suite. All that yield comes back into the miners, I believe, and the system miners also start taking over the protocol. So pretty awesome so far. I think they've been delivering on that concept and doing more stuff to build that out. So keep a lookout for this. Could be our big kind of I guess managed fund buyer kind of thing. That's kind of the approach there, and they are kind of leading the space on that. So it's great to have that that DeFi edition innovation coming to Pulsechain. So keep a lookout for that. How long has it been around for? 1 month and 18 days. So what's it, about 50 days? 50 days. So 50 days to rule the world, and True Farm is their first farm there. Let's quickly look at the website just to finish off the show. And this is truefarms.io. So check it out. It's got yield. So you just click on farms and you will see the yields here. It's got 76 cents at the moment. Let's see what the supply, 1,146,000 tokens. Emission rate is 1,000 today. And this is part of the secret sauce, is having a modest emission rate. And of course, they have single-sided staking for EDI as well as like Emmet does. And it's 234%. So it's pretty high. Weekly is 2.4% capital capture or yield capture at 30% a day. So nice little income in there as well. And then they have obviously pools with different combinations. They have really nice yields as well. So you got two really nice offerings there with Emmet Farm and True Farms. Both well worth checking out if you're after that high DeFi APR, right? And of course, they've got a broader DeFi ecosystem with True DeFi, the 2x miners, and of course now True Farms. And I believe they're working on something new as well. So look out for that. And you can find all the details around Emmet and True Farm in the Pulsechain Monster thread, the hottest weekly news over the last week, which is a publication, of course, of the Kryptonite Show. And we've got awesome MVS out there, the editor-in-chief and promotional lead for the Kryptonite Show, doing a great job. So big shout out to him out there. Sean says up only 369 our season. Absolutely. All right, so we're up to about an hour and 18 minutes. I think we've done a pretty good coverage of both Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Pulsechain. You guys can see it's looking pretty exciting, isn't it? Pretty exciting indeed. Take off time, guys. Take off time and don't miss the train, right? Don't miss the train. Now, there is part of the crypto market out there that thinks, oh, we're going down to 50K Bitcoin. But I think as I've shown you, I think that that's extremely unlikely scenario. I think the scenario now is heavily weighted in the biggest run over the next 9 months to 18 months that we have seen. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't have challenges. We do. Obviously, we've got the Iranian war on, but I think that that's pretty much dispelled. I think they'll take control of the oil part there. We do see ships getting through in the last day or so. So that sort of seems to be taking care of itself. And we also see, still got challenges around the Clarity Act. Obviously, we've got the midterms later in November. But so far, I think the polls are looking kind of favorable. Trump gives world security, gets rid of nuclear threat. I mean, ultimately, that's the biggest win there in the Iran thing. And of course, gives prosperity, right? And gives safety, right? So in America, the murder rate's going down, the crime rate's going down because Trump's cleaning up all the obvious problems that the Democrats created, right? So they're going to have a safer environment. You're going to have a more prosperous environment, a safer world. We all get to benefit from that to some degree. And of course, you're also going to have him dealing with the big issues over there around the trade deficit, which he's been doing over the last year, the federal deficit, which he's been dealing with as well, and of course, the public debt. You'll see some moves on there. Now, in addition to that, of course, when people are more prosperous, they're going to be getting tax refunds for no tax on tips, things like that. And so we're expecting big refund checks coming out. That's more demand for crypto, more demand for commodities, and of course, in a low inflation environment, it's going to be exciting times, guys. It is really, really cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you haven't joined the Strategy Club, I do encourage you to join up. They're just over $1 a day. You can see the QR code below there, below my video, and of course you can find the video links in the video description and pinned to the top of X. Don't forget also subscribe on YouTube. We're streaming on 3 YouTube channels: the Pulsechain X channel, the Superman Crypto channel, and the Kryptonite Show channel. So subscribe to there if you're watching over there. And of course, if you're on X, don't forget to smash the follow. We're heading towards 1,500 members, rebuilding back from our last channel that got unfairly taken down. But this is, social media and left-wing crazy nut jobs. So we're fighting against madness, right? Fighting against madness. Bring us the light. The powers of Grayskull. That's the way. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And a big shout out to all the people in the Pulsechain community. I know you guys, doing what you can to really create great stuff there. And it was a fun show with Hog today with the Pulse of the Fallen. We covered the top anime series on Pulsechain, doing an amazing job there. And of course, can't wait for season 2 as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Take care. I'll see you guys in Discord and Telegram. All the links are there to join up, and see you in Strategy Club as well. Take care and bye for now.